Movie opens with more than 3 minutes of credits, but so cleverly disguises it behind the nightly habits of a large dragonfly that the audience doesn't realize what they're being subjected to.
You through?
Kay finds the alien he's looking for, but my question is, how did they know that he would be mixed in with a bunch of border crossers? As we find out later, the men in black only know about certain aliens if someone calls it in, and when they do reveal this guy, they're surprised to find out it's an alien named Mikey. So, they weren't even specifically looking for him, they just happened to be in the right place at the right time for an alien they had no idea was here. Also, illegal alien gag hidden under an illegal alien gag is nowhere near as clever as the movie thinks it is.
You ever hear of Division 6?
There is no Division 6. This is bullshit.
You guys sure are lying down for it immediately, though. If it's bullshit, isn't it your jobs? You can't have it both ways, movie. Either they buy this shit or they don't. Men in black conduct this arrest not too far away from the Border Patrol guys. And yes, they have memory erasers, but maybe they could have avoided using them this time by finding a more secluded area. Okay, if it's not for this alien's eye, which totally gives away the Border Patrol dude, how would the MIB know if a civilian witnessed this or not? Also, why does Mikey go absolutely f***ing haywire just because the Border Patrol guy sees him? He obviously knows the MIB and their methods for making people forget about aliens like him, but the dude flips out because he hates voyeurism?
Hey, shoot him!
Why does D have to shoot him? Don't you have a gun too? Is this just so the movie can show why D is in No Country for Old Men right now? The MIB cleaning truck shows up literally seconds after an alien has been blasted, so these cleanup trucks either follow the detail and hang back a few miles, or else they're so plentiful and abundant that no matter where the MIB goes, they can show up within 2 minutes. Sin either way.
What blast? The underground gas main, genius. You fellas need to exercise a lot more caution before discharging your firearm.
If this is supposed to be a story that they remember, it is riddled with holes. I mean, the only details they'll have is that an underground gas main blew out in the middle of the desert, and for some reason they discharged their firearms, but that detail will be missing. Goddamn, who jizzed into the sky to increase the visible stars by a factor of 10? Michael Fassbender, I'm looking in your direction.
I will miss the chase.
No, D. You won't.
So you wiped this 90-year-old's memory out in the desert near the Mexican border? Why didn't you just wait till you got back to New York? How's he supposed to function or have a life out here? He has no memory. He might even think he's an illegal alien. Why you gotta be so mean to your longtime partner, Kay? Jay runs this newspaper truck down, which is fine, he'll get a ride. But isn't this truck moving slower than he can run? And therefore it's moving slower than the alien Jay is chasing? Also, I don't know what kind of straight f***ery was going on here that Jay knew he could take this truck and somehow be ahead of the alien. But that's the kind of scenario that's being presented to us. This reminds me, if this dude is running around Manhattan, then why are the men in black not in on this? They somehow know about a dude disguised as a Mexican who's in a van, but they don't know about this guy? Jay is addicted to the Guggenheim. Will Smith's character decides to run multiple floors on a slow incline, instead of searching for the elevator that will definitely be in this building due to the ADA. Well, it's more cinematic this way anyway.
He's coming. He's coming because I failed.
Alien uses the pronoun game because he basically knows how much that annoys humans when they need more specific information.
Watch that ledge, watch the ledge.
Seeing the powers this guy possesses, why doesn't he just climb down to the street? Jay would never be able to catch up to him then. And yeah, maybe he's just resigned to commit suicide because he's coming. But that doesn't explain why he ran through New York trying to get away from a cop this whole time. Apparently when humans lose their skin, it's all rubbery like a costume. Alien Edgar drinks sugar water like I drink wine. Oh, I drink too much wine.
Yes, that's right.
Will you look at this, please?
Again, why can't this wait? She's just gonna go back to work and see the alien again anyway. And he doesn't even tell her a story to remember.
I'm part of a bureau that licenses, monitors, and polices alien activity on the planet Earth. Yeah, whatever.
Even though Jay has seen more than enough evidence of an alien, he decides to play Dana Scully. Sadly, this might be Tony Shalhoub's most famous scene, even though most viewers probably don't know his name or any of the other great works he's appeared in, like Big Night, Monk, Wings, or hell, even Cars. Apparently, Jay needs a whole dinner to help forget about the proof of aliens he just saw, but everyone else just needs a stupid story with minimal details. So you wipe his memory, but you're still so impressed with him you give him your card, so he'll show up for alien training tomorrow without remembering any of his actual alien encounters? Wow, what are the odds? Edgar scheduled an appointment with the exterminator the day after an alien who was related to cockroaches crash-landed in his backyard, leading to this alien getting sweet expositional revenge. Will Smith, who conveniently was off the next day and didn't have any copying to do, decides to visit the hand-scrawled address on the back of the business card he probably doesn't even remember receiving last night. There's a ton wrong with that previous sentence, FYI. The single best gag in the movie has nothing to do with aliens or science fiction or any of that shit. It's this simple, obnoxious table-dragging scene, punctuated by Will Smith saying, "You want to get down on this?" And I'll even take a cent off.
May I ask why you felt little Tiffany deserved to die?
I'm thinking, 8-year-old white girl, middle of the ghetto, bunch of monsters, this time of night with quantum physics books. Those books are way too advanced for her.
Jay would be amazing at CinemaSins.
But this kid ran down a cephalopoid. On foot.
Yeah, but not really. He grabbed a ride on a double-decker tour bus in New York City at night, then rode on the back of a New York Post truck for a good while. I mean, ran down is a huge f***ing overstatement. Also, how do you justify recruiting new MIB agents solely on one instance of physical brilliance? If that's the criteria, then surely you also recruited Brett Favre after the dad died game, Michael Jordan after the flu game, and a bunch of other shit. that should stock your core so deep Will Smith's character wouldn't even need to be observed, let alone recruited.
Everybody thought the agency was a joke, except the aliens who made contact March 2, 1961, outside New York.
And to cover up the landing, we held a World's Fair in Queens 3 years later. Even if construction of the pavilion started in 1961 or even 1962, why go through all the trouble of a World's Fair instead of just packing the ships on giant trucks, covering them with tarp, and hiding them?
So these are real flying saucers, and the World's Fair was just a cover-up for their landing.
Why else would we hold it in Queens?
Haha, nice jab at Queens. But could it be because it's one of the most racially diverse places on Earth? I mean, I'm slightly talking out of my ass here because I guess this could be a recent trend, but surely back in the 60s this was at least partially true.
At any given time, there are around 1,500 aliens on the planet, most of them right here in Manhattan.
Which makes it ultra convenient for us, since we obviously only have 2 people hunting and tracking aliens at any given time. We can't just pack up and go to Mozambique anytime we want. Luckily, aliens haven't gamed that system yet.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
Gonna remove a sin for the big truth bomb in a summer action comedy. What a great line.
500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
The idea of a spherical Earth dates way further back than 500 years, way back in BC times. It's ironic that the idea that most people 500 years ago thought the Earth was flat is in itself a misconception. Also, it makes for pretty scenery to talk about this in a park, but you also run the risk of someone accidentally overhearing your conversation.
I'll give you the sunrise to think it over.
And I will trust that during that time, you, an unknown and untested recruit, will not tell anybody about all the alien stuff. Okay, so even if Kay knew for sure this guy would show up, how the f was he able to time it so he'd be on the elevator when dude showed up? Was Kay just riding this elevator up and down all morning until now? Why does the MIB keep a room full of active weapons behind glass just off the main MIB concourse? And if you want to say education or training, I'm still wondering why the room has to be so close to headquarters if it's going to be active. Or why it can't be a room full of deactivated weapons if it's going to be so close to HQ. Somehow, the first rule of Men in Blacking is not never touch the cosmic ball of horrific, perpetual devastation.
This thing caused the 1977 New York blackout.
And we keep it here where it can easily be knocked off and cause even more trouble if someone accidentally touches it. This real people are aliens board joke is dated as f***. They're all late 90s people, like Stallone, Tony Robbins, Thin Al Roker, Alive Ted Kennedy, writing George Lucas. This is basically a time capsule to movie makers and entertainers we thought in the late 90s would still be relevant today, but we were wrong, yo.
But I knew our teacher had to be from like Venus or something like that.
Ms. Edelson.
There are aliens that are so common that they teach elementary school, and there are numerous celebrities like Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and Sylvester Stallone who are aliens. There have to be more than 1,500 aliens on the planet at any given time, like Kay claimed.
Let's put it on.
Zed uses the pronoun game when talking about clothing. This movie went through the trouble of showing one of Jay's teachers, Miss Edelson, and showing that she was from Philadelphia, which is where Will Smith was actually born and raised. The playground is where he spent most of his days. But why was his passport issued in Indiana? Now the movie is saying Jay was born in New York. So this guy was born in New York, went to Philadelphia for schooling, managed to go to Indiana to get his passport, and come back to New York to work for the police. Oh, and also be sure to delete his name, which doesn't seem to be connected to anything meaningful on this screen, other than it just appears to be typed here. This has all the effectiveness of typing his name in Microsoft Word and then pressing backspace 21 times.
We are the Men in Black.
Roll credits. Is there any reason the Zappum truck needs to have reverse lettering like an ambulance on its hood? Do we need to move over for extermination vans when they're behind us in traffic? Also, bad guy in the Edgar suit can't drive for shit. Somehow he still got all the way from the Midwest to New York City while driving like a moron. I don't think Vincent D'Onofrio gets enough credit for playing this character. He is f***ing phenomenal. Obviously sped up footage is so obviously sped up I can't get behind the idea of this car being awesome.
Don't ever touch the red button.
Even though it, like everything else in MIB land, is completely out in the open for accidental touching.
Where is Ivan? Gave him a break.
And somehow in this small restaurant, even though I've never met you, I don't ask questions about you being a waiter here. Edgar somehow entered this restaurant, killed this guy, and stuffed him into kitchen shelves without anyone seeing it. I'm admittedly reading backwards here, but do these windows neon signs read Powar Kicksker? Even if this is an ethnic restaurant, I'm pretty sure that's gibberish on those signs there.
And where are you going, Reggie? Well, it's my wife. She's...
How did Kay not see this giving birth pregnant lady shit until just now? Before they came out here, we were told that this alien was stuck on the New Jersey Turnpike, but it appears he's stuck in the middle of f***ing nowhere. I mean, where the f*** is this? And why did it sound the MIB alarms only when he got out here? Stop showing people or aliens puking on screen!
These are the hot sheets?
Even though a f***ing spaceship crash landed here a few days ago, the MIB, who look for aliens professionally, did not know about it until they read about it in The World. How long has it been since the cockroach alien crash landed on Edgar's farm, and the MIB haven't checked it out yet? Also, why didn't Edgar go ahead and kill Beatrice while he was at it? He didn't have any reason to keep her alive, except to give the MIB information later in the movie.
And weak-ass stories, the best you can come up with.
On a more personal note, Beatrice.
How does this thing work where Jay essentially says, I hate that fake story you gave her to remember while she's under the influence of the neuralizer, and she somehow doesn't have memories of these guys making up stories for her to remember? Are cats typically wheeled into the morgue on top of their dead owners?
Examiner tried to verify this rectally, only to find the subject was without rectum.
One of the most overlooked great lines in a movie ever. As I watch these two people bond over an alien autopsy, I wonder what happens with the coroners from other places that are not New York City. Think about this for a second. There are approximately 1,500 aliens running around, some of them they obviously can't track. What if one dies in Santa Fe somewhere? Are we sure there aren't like 25 medical examiners out there who know about aliens? Men in Black steals the Quado from Total Recall and just rolls with that shit like it's original. Also, gotta ask, if this alien is only using the body as a vessel, why is he even close to death? Edgar only stabbed the vessel through the neck, which shouldn't have even phased this thing. Also, this asshole lives just long enough to give the characters some information, which is f***ing fantastic and convenient.
The galaxy is on
Orion's belt?
This asshole calls the cat's collar a belt, even though he speaks perfectly good English and would know not to call it that. Jeez, this zoom and enhance cliche is way too good. This is a satellite image that somehow changes angles. But f***ing props to the movie for using latitude and longitude data that actually does correspond to the same state we saw him looking at earlier. She's not gonna look up into space basically at the satellite camera right now, is she? Oh, f*** my ass.
What the hell do they know that we don't?
Why does a rat desert a ship?
Okay, so the reason why the aliens on Earth are trying to leave the planet is because the Archilians are pissed off that their emperor was killed and they want the galaxy, or else they'll blow up the planet. My question is, how did the aliens on Earth know this, and when did they know it? Remember Reggie? Well, he apparently knew about the attack before the emperor was even killed, because this scene happened either before or during Reggie's attempted escape.
That's an Archilian battlecruiser.
Indeed, it's also way the f*** closer to Earth than it should be for you to just be discovering it now. Exactly how much does the MIB suck at its job? Gotta love how Kay freaks out that Jay is aiming the noisy cricket at him, repositions Jay's arm, and then walks directly into the path of the noisy cricket as he exits the shot.
Please.
Yeah, but he's already got the shotgun pointed at you, and then you put it back in your suit. What the f*** was that stupid shit? You're a f***ing dead man.
Where do you keep your dead?
Good thing Edgar accosted this random street vendor about the morgue because he stumbles on a picture of the spaceship he'll need to get off this planet, which is the only one left.
You'll gather over here.
There are so many witnesses to the event in this shot that aren't looking at the flashy thing about to go off here that it makes my head spin.
You don't like it? You can kiss my furry little butt.
The movie inadvertently inspires super overplayed, drawn-out gag in the sequel. Cat Ex Machina. He's been driving around, then walking around after that incident with K&J, and is just casually carrying that rifle, and no non-intergalactic normal NYPD-style cops have been called on this dude? Is this the only morgue in town? Apparently all aliens end up here so that Laurel can get her memory erased every week. And the bug finds this place immediately because I guess New York only needs one morgue.
There's something I need to show you.
Slow down, girl. You ain't gotta hit the gas like that.
She points inward at her vagina here instead of straight down at the center top of the table, because the movie wants to make a fast-moving girls joke instead of making sense. Damn, this bug keeps finding new powers to kill people all throughout this movie. Why did he even need a shotgun with the tow truck guy earlier if he's got some slime that can stick people to the ceiling?
He's in a cab!
That feels vaguely racist, but what does Jay mean by the cab? Does he know which cab? Because he definitely doesn't, since they both ran out long after the cab was gone. How the f*** does the MIB claim to have kept this shit quiet? They can't flashy thing the entire northern hemisphere. Does seriously nobody see this impossible car driving on the ceiling of the tunnel? Yep, for no reason at all, this future tech supersonic Ford has a goddamn 8-track player. Because of course it does, you ninny. Movie has time for this. So seriously, why did he take her with him? He swallowed the galaxy, and he has what he wants. I'm shocked he didn't kill her back at the morgue, but taking her with? This is even more important a question to ask after she wrestles free and falls into a tree and he just waves her off like a joke and keeps going. Why'd you even bring her here, dog? Why didn't MIB send everything they've got to the site of the Old World's Fair? There were 8 or more working stiffs in this shot alone, but only J and K were sent to prevent the war? How is this not an all-hands-on-deck situation?
Warning. 8 minutes to the destruction of Earth.
Wait a minute, even with the red button technology it took K and J 52 minutes to drive to Flushing Meadows? God damn, I knew New York traffic was bad, but not defeats the red button technology bad. Shea Stadium. Of all the New York Mets they could use in this movie, they chose Bernard Gilkey. This probably says way more about the mid-90s Mets than it does this movie. Also, how are they going to erase the memories of all these fans? The Starship Enterprise is always being destroyed cliché. Wait, sorry, I got confused. Still, a sin for triggering me on that Star Trek
I'll put my hands on my head. Like this?
Why did they even give him this much time and leeway? If the cockroach was this huge, then why was Edgar's skin basically dripping off him? He's way too big to fit in it anyway, but even if he did, wouldn't it be tighter? Also, they allow Edgar to transform here, instead of just blasting his face right now. Is there any reason why the bug doesn't just kill Jay right now?
Was that your auntie?
By the way, I'm not entirely sure why this alien cockroach, which is way more advanced than his Earth brethren, even cares about these tiny insects.
You know y'all look alike.
That's roachist. I guess the digestive system of an alien bug doesn't cause any damage to a human being swallowed whole. Also, this is only like the 4th or 5th movie I've seen where a good guy lets himself get eaten by a bad guy only to slice his way out of the bad guy's belly at some point.
Call the Archelians, tell them we have the galaxy.
We totally beat that alien in 8 f***ing minutes. I don't even know how this asshole is alive. I just assume it's some alien regeneration shit. But what I don't get is why this asshole screams before attacking, giving J and K some warning. Also, holy shit, the rare sudden bad guy last minute attack merged with the very definition of an ex machina.
I haven't been training a partner, I've been training a replacement.
Yeah, but you're gonna retire now? Jay's only been on the job for 2 days. He doesn't even know how all the shit works, or the complexities of the alien politics, or the whatnots.
I cannot do this job by myself.
Hey guys.
Hey guys, look who's not going to be in the sequel, even though this movie did everything to try and make it seem like it was going to happen. I guess Linda Fiorentino was way too 40 to be in the next movie. That ball that hit Bernard Gilkey was not a home run, unless they're talking about an inside-the-park home run, which the official scorer would definitely not call it, since it hit the guy in the head and would just be an error.
Zed called. The High Consulate from Salaxium 9 wants floor seats for the Knicks Bulls game.
This is why you aren't going to be in the sequel, Linda. Your character blurts out alien secrets around hot dog stands.
Now, from the deepest of the darkest of night.
Why do I always forget that Will Smith is also a rapper?
Wild Wild West, Jim West, Desperado.
Anyway, the first one I don't remember too well, but it was about meeting him in town somewhere. He give me some money. I think I lost it.
I look at you, I don't see an intelligent, confident man. I see a cocky, scared, shitless kid. But you're a genius, Will. No one denies that. No one could possibly understand the depths of you.
This is a Class 1 quarantined planet. Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans.
Come on.
I did a Peter Pan right here off of this stamp.
Oh, the red button there, kid. Don't ever touch the red button.
It's the history eraser button, you fool!
He slimed me.
Welcome to Earth, third rock from the sun.
Well, I'm not a crook.
For man.